All right then. It is April 23rd, and this is a meeting.
26th.
Whatever. What does it say 23rd here?
That was February 23rd meeting.
Oh,
minutes.
yeah.
It's April 26th.
All right, scratch that. It's actually April 26th. And this is a meeting of the Norfolk Board of Health, and we are now in session. And on the agenda, we have several items, including review of minutes from past meetings. We have minutes from February 23rd and from April 5th. Are there any, let's see first of all who's going to be making comments. If you go back to February, that was the meeting that Cheryl and I were here.
Cheryl missed that one.
So I was at that one.
No, that's
23rd I
when we
was at.
attended. So, having read these extensive meeting minutes, do you have any changes to make?
No, I make a motion to accept the February 23rd minutes.
All right, I'll second the motion. No discussion, all in favor, aye? All right then, so they're approved. Now we'll move on to April 5th. Now it's going to be Jeff and me who are going to be discussing these minutes.
Yep.
Do you have any?
Betsy, just
Changes?
on that variance, on the bottom part of the page, it said Jeff moved to grant the variance for the use of the sieve analysis in lieu of the perk test, right?
Yeah.
And then on the next paragraph down, it said Jeff moved to deny the request for a variance for
Oh,
the use.
sorry.
So I think you can probably strike that,
Yeah,
just leave that one
yeah,
paragraph in.
request for variance.
If you go down, just say Jeff
Yeah.
moved to grant the request for a variance for the use of the sieve analysis and deny a reduction of groundwater
Yeah.
separation.
I just,
Take out the first line, the rest is fine.
All right, so that said, yeah, one second. We can do it real quick. Okay, so motion to accept the meeting minutes as written and as
amended. I'll second. Discussion, no, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. So now, there has been a proposal made to consider extending the testing season for maximum groundwater beyond April 30th. Wade, do you want to address the need for this, or?
Well, I think under new old business, number 2 is probably because of number 3.
yes, it
And I
kind of
think
is.
however you act to number 3, you might be related to number 2. Because as of right now, currently, everything's under control, everything's being
All right.
just witnessed.
So all the applications that are, as far as we know, coming in are in and have been scheduled?
Yes, yes. And there's actually even a morning open in case something comes in at the last minute.
All right.
And technically even another day.
Okay.
Which would be Thursday morning, Friday would be available if anybody came in. Like an application came like now or something like that, or tomorrow.
Have you speaking to?
Oh, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Oh, okay. You have an echo here.
It has to be in between you two.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, let's move on to number 3 then, and then we'll come back to number 2.
Thank you.
So we have a letter from Tom Houston concerning a legal matter, action that's being taken basically by a person who does work in our town against him and his company. And in light of that situation, he's brought to our attention the fact that this person who is taking legal action against him also has business before the town right now, which includes, among other things, testing, or have we seen actually an application for testing?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's quite a few sites under this person's business.
Yeah.
One was a residential upgrade, which is, I've already been out there witnessed to test holes. and another one was exploratory holes behind a commercial site that the individual recently purchased.
All right.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Thanks. I know a while back there was an issue with one of the sites because of the engineer that stamped it. And I thought you had to retest that area out there because of that. Is that one that's still open?
We never really had to go back
Okay.
because the person that wasn't licensed on part of the requirement for the plan itself.
Right.
He was a licensed soil evaluator.
Okay, so that didn't have to be, so all the ones that he's referring to here are new
Correct.
projects?
Oh, that's correct, that's correct. No, yeah, no going back to old ones.
Right, okay,
Correct. And then we have applications that were submitted in this winter, spring for this groundwater season. We've satisfied or completed all of them but one. And that particular one was scheduled at least 2 times. Once with their office, and then a second time, I had the opportunity to speak to the engineering company that was going to do the work, and also some of the employees, and they all agreed for the following week, and also the owner agreed too. Then the day before the day we were going to do the work, he canceled the work.
So nothing's been done with this company since the lawsuit's been filed?
Correct, that's correct. But 2 of the 3 applications have been completed with myself going out there. And also within the last year, there's been also other work that's been reviewed and ongoing inspections with this, with your current health agent.
All right. So it's up to the board. You have
Without any problems, let's put it that way.
I know. So we have a record of continuing to work with this particular individual or company. But at the same time, now that there has been legal action taken, we have a letter from Tom Houston, April 14th, indicating that we should at least consider the fact that some might perceive there to be a conflict of interest if somebody in his employ, namely Wade, continues to essentially provide the services that our agent normally does provide to this particular applicant. My understanding is that the applicant is aware of your continuing to do work for us, and is aware that right now you're the only agent that we have who is authorized to do that work. And I have the impression that when he was advised of that, he had no difficulty in your continuing to do the work that you have been doing.
That's great.
Did you catch that, Betsy?
No, I missed it.
All right. So the conversation has to do with the fact that the applicant is aware that Wade has been doing work and is scheduled to do some additional work for projects that he submitted. And he's also aware that right now Wade is the only person whom we have on board as an agent who is authorized to work on behalf of the board to provide these services. And I have the impression, I've been advised, that the applicant is aware that Wade is our only guy right now and has no difficulty in Wade continuing to provide those services. That is what I have heard. You know, wasn't sure if you have been aware of that or was present when that kind of comment
correct.
was made.
I don't think an issue would come up unless there was a conflict as far as Wade denying or finding a problem with the project. Then it may be a little bit more of a sticky situation. And I wonder if it's possible, obviously I have no problem personally with PSC moving forward doing this, and I think they can act, outside the realm of this lawsuit in a ethical manner. But I wonder if it makes sense if the applicant, in this case, Mr. Quiglieri, would be willing to maybe put something in writing that he doesn't have an issue with this. Like I said, I worry if something happens in the future where PSC does come into conflict with them, that maybe now this would come up that it's a conflict, and that would start slowing things down.
Yeah, I have some concerns. You know, I'd actually like to have legal counsel take a look at this whole thing, even though we may make the recommendation that we're comfortable and don't have any issues, and supposedly the other party is also comfortable. But again, what happens down the road? And if there's a conflict, will it end up going against the town that we made the recommendation? So, and then the other issue is potentially having somebody else. I think that really opens up a can of worms, because somebody else comes into the town and decides that they don't like what Wade did, so therefore they're going to do a lawsuit, and then the town has to get another person. So now we're looking at, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different people who are our agents and going down that pathway. And then the other thing is, if we decide, okay, say that it's a one-off, that for just this time period, we're going to have another agent to do this because of this lawsuit. I want to have something in writing that does not set precedents. So this is a one-time, this is what we're doing. We're not going to do it for everybody else coming through. And then the other thing is, if that's the way we go down, how do we get this other person? Do we have to do an RFP? Do we just appoint? So, and if we just appoint, will we have other firms saying to us, well, how come you just appointed? And the process should be an RFP.
I think we can, well, at least that part, I believe we have a certain limit we can go to, so as long as it's just within a certain threshold, we can appoint. But if
again,
it
we
does
need
go
to-
beyond that, then we
Exactly,
would
and
have-
that's why I think having, kind of legal counsel behind us to make sure. I mean, I have no problem with Wade and PSC continuing doing what they're doing. I, feel that they can maintain, integrity. But I want to make sure that we have something on paper. And again, if the other party says, nope, he's fine with that, then I want something in writing that states that he's comfortable having Wade view the projects.
Which lends back to, should we extend the groundwater season, because this is gonna be a little bit longer than. Yeah, I agree with Cheryl. I mean, it can't hurt to have legal counsel look at it, obviously, and give us an advice on that. I think, it doesn't sound like either of us have a problem with PSC continuing in
Right.
that role, but
Right.
we should have someone behind us telling us that we're not making complete, putting the town at risk.
Right, exactly. And if legal counsel says, no, this is going to put us at risk, then, then we have to go forward. And again, then the recommendation of how do we go forward with this?
Right.
And is it a one-time appointing? But I think it would open up a can of worms, to be honest with you.
Okay, is there a motion?
Do we really have to make a motion for this
Well, if we're
one?
going to ask that this be referred to council, we need to say, yes, we're going to do that.
Okay, well, in that case, I would make a motion to have legal counsel review the situation in front of us as far as having our consultant continue on in the presence of litigation.
So essentially forwarding the letter of April 14. and-
Yeah, and getting a
and
decision
noting-
on that, or at least getting some type of input from legal counsel as far as how it pertains to us and the town.
Okay. Second?
I was going to say, do we have any discussion?
Well, I just wanted to offer my input, and I
Just
joined.
identify yourself.
Yeah.
Phil Paradis, recently appointed president of PSC. I worked with Tom for 15 years prior to and was with Beta for the last 10 years. So I was on that team as well for the planning board. But I wanted to offer to kind of keep operating as PSC, but have Tom sit out in terms of this work, and I would oversee it, and so that he would not be involved in any communication with this individual as another alternative.
Yeah, I guess that,
But I think it's also against Tom and PSC. So I think that to separate Tom out of it.
Yeah, I understand, but if you read the lawsuit, it's almost specifically
against Tom.
against.
I mean, it can't hurt. I guess what we're looking to do is probably have something drafted up to send to legal counsel. And I guess we could mention that as a caveat, that maybe that could help That we just, leadership, at least presence, has just changed, and maybe that would help, but you put something you can put in the memo. I think we're kind of saying, maybe you, Tom, want to draft something up quick to send to legal counsel? Some of the votes approved.
I second.
Yeah, that's not a difficulty. In fact, I'll give you something tomorrow, Betsy.
Yep.
So the sense of it is that we do have a legal action taken against, Tom and the PSC, principally Tom. And right now, the question is, should we be seeking another kind of one-off, another individual to provide services, particularly to Quagliary?
But at the same token, we feel comfortable as a board moving
Right.
forward with PSC. But what's your opinion as far as town
Right.
council's opinion as far as liability or opening the town up? And then we could throw in the caveat that with leadership changing, there's a little bit of separation there internally.
And again, if town council says we need to get somebody else, I think the question then is, again, how's the process? And what happens to the projects?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think I want to say it's $5,000 I thought we were allowed to go without RFP. Do you recall that, Betsy?
I don't know,
I don't know, but there is a number.
Well, Jack can give it to
Yeah,
us.
there is a
Yeah.
number out there,
Yeah.
and then it does kind of open, okay, if there's open projects that you have right now, Wade, with them, and now you've got someone coming in, are they gonna look at that? And everyone always has their own opinion with comments.
Right.
And they're gonna start commenting on stuff that might have been done before, and,
And who would not want to change the inspector?
yeah,
Not
well,
want-
that's true. Well, I mean, that's a little
Not wanna
different.
have-
I mean,
have
we've
the
got a
opportunity to
lawsuit.
Say, I want to watch chicken coop.
I don't personally don't see that setting a precedent as far as you can just come and pick and choose. I mean, this is legal action against the owner of the company. That's a little bit different. Now, if everyone wants to file a lawsuit against PSC before they do that, that's up to them. But I don't see how that would open us up to people just coming in and saying, well, we don't want to use Wade,
So what right now is outstanding? Quagliary?
For soil work,
Yeah.
one particular property I believe it's on 20 Valley Street. And the application's in the office. There are a few ongoing projects in town that he's building or he wants to develop. And I would have to have a map. There's one right around the corner. Well, there's one right across the street. It's a 3-building complex that's in the works of being constructed. He's got another proposed project that was in front of the planning board, which is a complex of apartments. He's got another building on Pond Street that's now a foundation and it's for sale, and people are looking at it. So I'm getting questions what they could use that building for, and Mr. Quagliari owns it. So I'm actually going to I have one that came in today, asked me questions how they could utilize that building, and he's the owner of that building. And there's a residential system up on Fruit Street we did work a couple weeks ago, so that plan should be coming in. Also, that company does Title V inspections too in town. And I would review the Title V reports.
All right, so we can expect a continuing amount of work. No real sign of it not being required that somebody, well, I mean, it depends on what the attorney has to say, so we'll have to wait and see. Because there's a continuing amount of work here that's going to go on for some time.
Right.
And also the relationship I have with the company too. I've actually given them a reference to another town, and they got the work. And they asked me to give them a reference. And that happened less than 6 months ago. And I'm calling up another health agent of the town, telling them my opinion on this company putting septic systems in. That's quite a responsibility, and they actually asked me personally if I would do that for them.
Al asked you?
Not one of his men, Bob Baig, which is part of the management team there, for if I could recommend one of his men to do a job in the town, because Bob couldn't be there. And the license was in Bob's name, but the company would wanted the other person's name on the license. So I was in a position to, and the conversation with health agent was private. I mean, it's my opinion, my doings, and
Was that after or before the lawsuit was filed?
before. But I was just showing that type of relationship I had
Yeah.
with the men out in the field with the company itself. Because I could have said no, I could have declined, but I think they're a good operation.
Well, as a part of this, you originally said this, Jeff, that, well, what if we have a document from Al that simply says, hey, look, we understand this legal action is taking place, but at the same time, there's work to be done, and Al simply states in writing he has no difficulty with Wade being the provider of those services.
Right.
I think it's worthwhile, I mean, first of all, I think it's worthwhile for us to ask Al for that document. At the same time, I think it's worthwhile for us to ask town council
Right.
whether it's going to have any real
If that's good
impact
enough, exactly.
on future activity.
Right.
So why don't we first, well, immediately do two things. One, I'll write this memorandum, but number two,
Yep.
let's check with Al.
Yep, I just sent an email, so.
All right. And let him know that, you know, if he wants things to move forward expeditiously, like in the next couple days, there's one way for that to happen. If he's willing to step back a bit, and we can get a bit, you know, advice from council, other things can happen in the future. So, okay, so you're gonna take care of that, and I'll send you the memo, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, which brings us back, I guess, to number
Well,
two.
there's still, just to finish it up, there's still a motion open, right? I mean, we
We got to vote on
got
it?
a second if you want to. I forget what we've been said in the motion, but it's hanging
All
out
right.
there,
Yeah.
so.
You move to have town
Tom's
council
review.
review, Tom Houston's letter and provide their opinion on, whether they felt as though it was
Right.
okay for Wade to continue to review his work.
Okay, and then
That
Cheryl.
was seconded by Cheryl,
Yep.
and let's take a vote on that. This is further discussion. We're all good?
Yep.
And so, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. 3-0. All right. So, maybe we need to extend the season. So wait, is there a downside to that as far as you're concerned, given,
Well, there is a downside, but there is also a good, the glass is still half full. Because north and south of the project that the application is brought to the office, we have seasonal groundwater holes there. So there are some references that we can look upon that are adjacent to the property that Mr. Quigley wants to develop, which I've also, one of my witness for him, for his company at the one time. And so they're within stone's throw away. So we do have some idea what the groundwater is, but I wouldn't go too far into May. At least go first 2 weeks of May.
Because anyone can come in.
You open up the groundwater, yeah, that's right, you're opening up for the whole
Well-
town.
Not necessarily. Do we have in our regulations that they have to, applications have to be submitted by April 1st?
Nope,
Did we take that out?
that was taken out. But there is a part of the regulation, the Board of Health can extend the groundwater season, but I think that's correct, you do it for one, you have to do it for all. So this gets down to, again, to there's an individual who get to pick the inspector, but that's something different.
But is this application already in?
The application's already in.
And so, do we have it that we're extending the groundwater season for current applications? So that no one new. Currently submitted applications, so you don't have people now flooding with that. I don't think we'll have people flooding us with applications, but if you have it that any current application, so if there's anybody else who's there who's looking to have it.
Yeah, that would work, I think that would work.
Or do we even have to? I mean, if that application was in, do we have to extend the season? If that was already in
It
prior?
has to be
Yes.
completed by April 30th.
Has to be completed by, okay.
Because now we're dealing with the groundwater fluctuation.
Yeah, well, I'm
So
not
do
big
we-
on the season anyway, you know that, but I don't think it's needed, but whatever we feel.
It's a great idea, great stuff, good stuff.
so are there any outstanding applications except for Alden?
Nope.
Okay, so when we extend the season, we're basically extending it for out.
Correct.
If we say only submitted applications.
Can we do that?
But people do have until April 30th to apply, but actually, no, they probably have till Thursday to apply because the office is closed on Friday.
All right.
I guess.
But if they applied on Thursday, it'd be too late because there wouldn't be time to schedule it. So I think tomorrow will probably be the last day of the season to be practical.
So.
But wait, I'm sorry, even take that back, even you have to call dig safe, that's 3 days. Still just preparing the area just to get permission, know when you're gonna go on the site. There's other dealings you have to do prior to going on the site. Dig safe is the big one. So I think we've pretty much received all our current applications for this year.
So what we're considering now is a vote to extend the season for completing the work already submitted.
For submitted applications only?
Submitted applications as of tonight
Yes.
for a period of
I would say the first 2 weeks of May.
2 weeks into May.
So,
So for, I think
So
that's
May 15, we're done?
May 15th.
We have to extend it at another meeting. And I don't know if 2 weeks will be enough to get town council.
May
and everyone to
15th
look
is,
at it.
I was gonna say, May 15th is Sunday, so extended until May 12th. Because you're not here on Friday, right?
That's
13th.
correct, that's
We're
correct.
not realistically gonna have a meeting in that time though, right?
Would you want to do you want to do a 3 weeks?
I would say 3 weeks and then schedule a meeting almost at that day or something like that, just in case this isn't wrapped up, so we can extend it
Well, how
again.
about we roll it over to the following Tuesday, because that'd be the same day as the day we
17th.
would meet. And we could always extend it that night if we had to. We're gonna be around.
I have a planning board meeting.
Yeah,
You have a what? Tuesday?
yeah, I'm not able to do 17th either.
Yeah, most assuredly.
24th.
You could just make it a month. We're
Well-
just really extending this for one thing.
Yeah, I think that's a slippery slope going down that pathway.
Well, right.
Models.
Well,
So why would we need to have, if we extended it, why would we have to have a meeting?
I'm just wondering if this isn't wrapped up with legal counsel, we haven't having a definitive decision if we can go forward yet with PSC, we may have to extend it again.
Well, we may, but I think we can let the council and the selectmen and Jack
Right.
all know, hey, look, we really gotta get a decision on this.
Right,
yeah, we're dealing with Mother Nature.
2 weeks
Yeah.
happens
Right.
awfully
Well, yeah,
quick.
I mean, all those oak trees are gonna be sucking up that water really quickly in the next
Yeah,
couple of
no, let's
days.
say 2 weeks
Correct.
goes by very quickly in this realm, you know that.
Leaves pop out,
Yeah,
water's
yes.
flowing.
I'm fine with doing it, we'll have to deal with it when it gets close to that time, if
Yeah.
we don't have anything, if we don't have anything final, we're gonna have to schedule something, or he's gonna have to wait again.
So, let's do the 2 weeks. You're comfortable with what was the Thursday, the 12th?
the 12th. The 12th.
And if we can't get any kind of a decision out of
So May
our
12th.
legal minds before then, we'll have to do something at that point. All right, so the motion is to extend the observation of maximum groundwater through May 12th
For currently submitted,
for currently submitted applications.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now, speaking of engineering services, there is the issue of a contract. And the fact that the one that we're working under now is expiring as of June 30th.
I will bring our attention to the last time we did an RFP, and it took us quite a while to get that done. And we have the ability to extend, what, 1 year, Betsy? Is that correct? So I'll throw that out there, just off the get-go here. Fortunately, we don't meet, a couple times a month, and we do take a while to get these things done, so. My suggestion would be extending it a year. but I'm up for reelection, so I might not be here.
Oh, yeah, you will be.
So take that with a grain of salt.
Cheryl?
How long did it take the last time? I wasn't here for the RFP process.
You what?
No,
It must have been. That
No.
took forever.
no.
It took like 6 months.
Yeah. And we initially were going to work with planning board to come up with the, it just,
Yeah.
everything, it took for a while. It took a while. I mean, look how long it took us seriously to do the regulations. I mean, to
Right.
do sections of those things,
Right.
you know, and it's just, it was a lot to go through and
We
we
can't
do-
afford to have it take that long.
That's, well,
Yeah,
I
we
know. I mean, I think we did extend the old contract. I think we did it twice, I thought.
Yeah, I
Didn't
think
we?
we're here, we're extending the old contract. What if we extend the contract from 6 months from 6/30, so that goes to the end of the year, and then we start the RFP process, which
No.
gives us, yeah.
I think
Initially,
that's-
we extended for a year so we could get the RFP process done in that timeframe. Honestly, I'll tell you realistically, to me, it makes more sense. Again, time just seems to go by quickly, and the summer comes, and we're probably not gonna meet too often in the summer anyway. I mean, realistically, we meet once every, I think, 6 weeks or something in
Well,
the summer.
but it's only April right now.
Right.
So, and I'm saying extending from 6 months from the time it expires, which would be the end of December. So have it expire December 31st.
That would mean actually having the RFP out and actually looking at
Mm-hmm.
responses presumably sometime like October, November,
Mm-hmm.
to get the whole thing wrapped up and
Mhm.
tied up by December 30th. That's doable. I mean, if we're not redesigning the RFP, I presume we're not.
I mean, the other thing is that we can extend it up to a year, correct? So can we can extend it for 6-month increments. So we extend it to the end of December, and if October is looking like we're not going to be getting what we need to get done, then we extend it to June, and then we have it starting as of June the next
So
year.
if we're extending, realistically then, what are we thinking of putting this RFP out then?
This summer, right?
That,
I mean, we have an RFP that was used the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's any real problems with it,
so
we
realistically
can
by
recycle that RFP.
September,
So we have to have it out for how long?
Is it 30 days?
Yeah, it's usually about a month.
we have to have it out by August. Right?
Yeah, I don't see how, why we couldn't have it out by,
Yeah.
I mean,
don't see
I
how
think
that's
that
a
would be-
problem.
All right, well, I'm just saying, we're gonna spend a couple of meetings going over this and
Yeah.
changing things and everything else. I'm just,
Well, see, you get realisted in May,
Yeah.
and then you can
Yeah.
actually be
If I
part of
don't,
this.
but I'm trying to help the next guy
Yeah.
sitting here. So realistic, if we go through this, we have to get it out. I'm just saying, for our realm, that's kind of quick. 2 meetings, we're gonna get this thing out. So we can get it out by August and review it by September, because we go in and start going into October, November, it's
Yeah.
usually gonna start running into holidays and things like that
Oh, I
before
know.
you know it.
But there is the clock that's ticking on this one. There really hasn't been a clock ticking on all the other stuff that took us forever to get done.
Right.
So.
All right, well, I'm just.
And again, I
Rise
think,
to the occasion, Jim.
I think if Jeff, if we're looking like it's not happening, then we have the ability to extend
Oh,
for
yeah,
the 6
yeah, we do.
months. So, we have that in your back pocket, but my concern is that if we extend something for a year, then you kind of, oh, it's a year, we've got time, and
6 months later.
6 months later, then we're scrambling, so, that way we
All
can
right.
get the process and maybe meet in May to look at the RFP or have
So
some RFP
6 months
around.
from the expiration date.
6 months from the
Yeah,
expiration
so
date, yeah,
December 31st, let's say.
which gives us basically 8 months.
All right, is that a motion?
I
extend
motion
the
to extend the contract for 6 months from 6/30/19 to 12/31, sorry, 16, not 19.
Now, is this a proposal that we then send to PSC? Get an extension?
Yes,
So somebody's got to sign on your end
Mhm.
too. This is
as
a,
long as they're willing to accept our extension.
Well, they are right here.
if you got any real problems with it, now's a good time to tell us, but if there are no
Mm.
problems with this idea.
Second,
Second, all right. Further discussion? If not, all in favor?
I,
Aye, all right. So extended through the end of December, and we'll send an email to
Mhm.
PSC indicating that's our intent for the short term. Meanwhile, Betsy, we need to dig out the RFP from the last time it was,
Oh, not a problem.
okay. Uh,
I see you've ignored this completely.
no, I guess we can do it now.
Schedule next meeting?
No. Since all of us are here, I, all right, it is now time to talk about tobacco 21 regulations.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
You did
talk
skip
about
over
that.
that.
Since we're all here, and since Betsy has provided us with another copy of the regulations, I think we are all pretty much in favor of this. I do
Yep.
have a couple of questions. Maybe should have read all the fine print a little bit earlier, but there are a couple of provisions for signs that kind of surprised me a little when I took a look at this again. On page, well, let's see, it's the second piece of paper on the back side. There's a A and a B under required signage. Starts on the. Anyway, there's a sign that talks about the need to say that the establishment that sells tobacco products is in conformity with Mass General Law, Chapter 270, Section 7. This sign shall be at least 48 square inches. Okay, that's 7 by 7. Yeah, it's not so bad. Are these things up already? No.
I don't think so.
As a result of the old regulations, we never require signs to go up. All right, that's a new sign. And then there's another 8.5 by 11 notice that has to be posted. And there was another one that was something we were going to provide. Let's see.
The discloses current referral information about smoking cessation. So B,
Yeah.
signage provided by the Norfolk Board of Health that discloses current referral information about smoking cessation. That's fairly easy. We can just put in the information that the state has from the QuitWorks program.
Okay.
I'm sure they could probably provide me with something.
Yeah, the state has a huge program, QuitWorks program, because we try to get every patient who comes through to quit smoking and get them part of the program. It's a free program.
There must be another group or something you could talk to with maybe a person who's in charge of tobacco 21 regulations that might have some information. Any names come to mind?
I'll have to ask around.
All right, we'll ask around. All right, so you don't see any difficulties, Betsy, with any of
I
this?
don't think so.
All right. All right, then. So, for the benefit of those at home, what we're really talking about here is essentially saying that you got to be 21 or older to buy tobacco products, and that includes things you smoke, things you chew. It also means that you are not going to be able to buy things that are designed to deliver nicotine, even if they're not tobacco products. All of that is covered under this regulation. 21 or over. So, you ready?
Yep, notice,
Oh,
motion to enact the under 21 tobacco regulations as presented.
When will we have the?
Effective,
Yeah, that's the effective date.
Effective-
June 1st? May 1st?
May 1st?
We need to have time, well, we have to get,
We have to get the
I was
signs.
going to say, I have to get signed, so I would say
Yeah,
June
okay,
1st.
June 1st. June
June
1st.
1st?
yeah.
Second?
further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Effective June 1st. All right. Next item, scheduling a meeting.
Actually, we've got, I think Wade had presented about the toilet facilities on 123 Seekonk.
Yes.
Ah,
There was-
today, yes.
You asked me to look into that.
Okay, what about porta potties?
Interesting.
2?
3.
3.
3?
I did talk to
Oh, 50, yeah.
Mike Brogan today, and he's telling me there was basically around under 50 or under, people actually attend. But not knowing how many people are participating, probably be safe saying at least 100. So you'd be dealing with 3 toilet units, 1 hand washing sink, and one of them being handicap accessible.
The hand washing sink that's in the porta potty, that's what you're talking about, or is it separate?
No, actually, there aren't any hand washing sinks unless you have like a trailer type unit. Typically, they have these hand washing sinks that are separate from the unit itself. It's
Ah.
freestanding. You go up to it, you can wash your hands with antibacterial.
Because usually they have those antibacterials in the porta potty.
Yeah,
don't
they usually have like a Purell or something in the porta potties.
They do, but they also have them outside freestanding, so you can walk up. Because I think inside of porta potties, it's pretty enclosed. It's not very attractive.
Does it have to be an outside hand washing sink?
No, I don't. No.
It can be the Purell in the
Inside each, sure,
inside each unit?
that would be fine.
That's odd, I guess they're technically unisex, right? I mean,
Yeah, they're unisex.
okay. Well, they're 2, like, okay, you sometimes get the boy-girl ones, you have 3, you got an odd number, so.
It does simplify things a little bit in the current political
I
climate.
was just thinking the same thing, I'm like, be careful what I say, it's election year, you know?
Also, in this particular event, people do show up with their trailers. And they have portable, they have full facilities in those trailers too.
So you're recommending anything to the selectmen here, or what are we doing?
No, I think it came up from a question from a neighbor, and I think this is more of a guideline to the selectmen or to Mr. Brogan.
So does the Board of Health need therefore to issue a certificate or a
I don't,
approval?
I don't think that the Board of Health permits porta-johns.
I would say, if anything, maybe again, just put something on you, Tom, that you just shoot off a letter to selectmen, just saying we reviewed the issued letter, and the only comment we would have is, per our health consultant, it would be recommended
And
that
let them
this.
take care of the enforcement.
Exactly, just say that's recommended based on.
It's just a recommendation.
Yeah.
Wherever we get it came from.
Porta potties.
So just, wait, it's the industry standard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is there some sort of,
It's
regulation,
interesting.
something we can throw out there? Like
No.
state code or anything?
No, I think I'd go through the professionals. There are actually quite a few associations. There's a Porta International Association. There's a National Porta Association. I mean, there's actually associations, and if you go on the website, they have little calculations. You can plug in what your events are, and it comes out with an answer. Or you can call them up saying, I have an event, I have, you have to describe the event, because you have only women, it's different. If you have serving alcohol, it's a different event, because there'll be more use for the toiletries or food event. So it's interesting concept in a way, but I would go for the recommendation
So just to say
of the
that.
standard industry.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the recommendation is to
I would actually just send them,
Yeah, send them this.
send them
Yeah,
the
send them
back
Wayne's
of
letter.
that document?
yeah, just send Wade's letter, so that way you can see what the recommendations are.
And they can make
All right.
make a choice. I wrote in the letter and I deleted it. I didn't want to pick on anybody, but the license did not mention anything with any kind of porta
So
john requirements.
we don't have to issue anything, obviously. So just, I would definitely put that in, say, there's no Board of Health permit
Right.
required for this, but,
We
this is
recommend.
what I review.
Now, if you had a food permit attached to
Oh,
this,
that's it.
then you
Yeah.
have you could have some conditions placed on it very easily. Talking to the owner of the property, he was very cooperative of receiving advice, and he told me he has been using porta johns. Yes.
And they have no interest in having some kind of a food stand at this
Not that I
operation?
know of. I have not heard of anything, or,
How many has he been using, did he say?
I'm sorry?
Did he say how many he has been using?
Porta johns? No, he did not give me a number. But he did mention some other opportunities there too, of half bathrooms and stuff. I said, and I advised him, you probably would just want to see what porta johns for your public.
It's interesting.
Thank you, Wade.
I'm thinking of my daughter when she used to ride, and they would have the horse shows, and they had one bathroom in the little barn, and they had one porta potty, and they probably had 100 people in there during the day. So,
And I think in the future, they are making an indoor horse barn, and I think they will have facilities inside that
Facilities.
horse barn for public use.
All right. Actually, one more thing before we get to scheduling, and that is Betsy sent some stuff around about what's happening with 1 Needham Street.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was chairman updates.
Yeah, right. Betsy's got all the information.
So, they did go to court last Thursday, and we have a court-appointed receiver, working there, so, there's a dumpster on site, probably seen that, so, hopefully he's making some progress, but they are due back in court again on Thursday.
What does a receiver do? What is their job?
Oversee the cleanup of the property, and if needed, we'll hire a company.
And how is the owner still involved? Is he still part of this whole process now?
Currently, he is.
That's good.
To give him an opportunity to, be involved.
Mhm.
It's a pretty bad situation, though.
Really?
My read of the correspondence is that Jim is actually not living in the
No,
house
he
right
did
now.
Not habitable at the moment.
Yeah.
yeah, there's no electricity in the house.
And there's just,
Is he with family?
not really sure. So,
So it's moving forward, though, at least.
But I think the most recent letter said something about people going through the pile of stuff outside and occasionally finding stuff that might have some value. And the worry then becomes, all right, well, you just don't throw everything in the dumpster, or do you? And who sorts it? I mean, that's kind of where this whole thing started. Because somebody never sorted anything, all got saved.
So that's the question. So is he involved, and didn't even know, is he involved in that process with a
he
Little League?
is at the moment. I'm not sure how capable, how that's gonna work.
Yeah.
So it might end up being hiring someone to come in and to clean it. So,
So is the dumpster getting filled, as far as you know?
It actually is. I drive past it every morning,
Mhm.
and there's actually less and less piles. So,
it's not gonna be a quick and easy
No.
Okay.
fix.
So you can see the front of the house better now than you could?
yeah, actually you can. I mean, it's
It's a long way to go.
well, definitely. I mean, they haven't hit the house, but you can. It used to be just a little pathway. And a lot of that's been taken down. So,
So, trouble is if the town condemns it, they have to, it's very costly for the town, because they have to provide them with housing. So,
All right.
Thanks for the update.
to be continued. I know, it's a sad situation, so.
Yeah.
You know, it's the town, everyone seemed to, well, at least the vocal people wanted it, something to happen, it's happening, so, for better or worse, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Our next gathering, post-election. End of May.
Well, now we have an RFP to take care of, so.
I got something to do.
Yeah,
Something important.
geez, there goes the
Jeff
summer.
gonna be with us?
I don't know.
You wanna shoot for May 24th?
Should work. Right, any other business, old or new?
For me.
Well,
do Do we need to sign anything?
I was going to say, yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, I have some tobacco regulations for you to sign.
So we should remind everyone that it is tick season now. It's been going on for a while. Protect yourselves from the
Supposed to be a
Lyme.
really good year for ticks,
Good luck, a lot.
like a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it really wasn't cold and snow and,
Lose
All right.
any trees this year?
What's that?
Did you lose any trees at your house?
I did, nice big huge 50-foot one right in our backyard.
Really?
Luckily, it went sideways and it actually, my daughter had her rebounder and her goal, lacrosse goal. It went right between the two of them.
Nice.
No, I didn't. How about you?
Lost just a peach tree. It's funny, we lost a peach tree because of the snow, but we're going to lose it anyway because there wasn't going to be any peaches this year. They all would have got frosted, but we lost the whole tree anyhow. So, yeah, just one little tree is all.
Actually used to get fruit off it?
Yeah, oh, yeah. They're delicious. Peach tree in this neck of the woods.
I know.
Most years, it's really great.
Well, they said the peaches in the Northeast actually we won't be having any because of the funky weather. Everything started to bloom and bud, and then we had cold weather and all the
Yeah,
buds
same with
froze.
the daffodils aren't
Yeah.
as plentiful this year
Yeah.
because of that.
All right, if there's nothing else for us to do this evening in this room, I'd say we're,
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
I.
We're adjourned.
Just like that.